Don't think I'd be doing this again, but here we are. How about we get a few things out of the way off the bat, though? How am I doing? Fucking awful. What more do you want me to say? I'm not scared, I'm in pain, and every so often when I get a few moments to myself, I get paranoid. So why am I risking another night in the pneumonia penthouse by posting? See, I'm not. Adrian and his people watched the activity on my first post, saw how many people were interested in this hideous endeavor, figured it was an effective way to find a few more volunteers. I'd like to think this is a point where people stop reading. They pretend they never saw my rantings, but that won't happen. I'm not trying to sneak this out under the cover of darkness. I'm being made to write it. One more glimpse into a reality few will believe, fewer will experience. Thing in my cell. What is it? What does it do? I'm telling you the same thing I told Percy the next morning. The hell if I know. I've yet to see my cell or anywhere I recognize on the monitors again. For the past couple of days, so I don't know. It's like I can feel it. Just watching. Waiting for something I'm too stupid to see. I look down on my foot, stifling a bit of rage. I think about how they acted as if they were rewarding me by letting someone with a medical degree cut the dead pieces from it. I've never been much for camping, survivalist crap. In the few days since we've talked, I've made a lot of bad decisions. You learn quick, when your life is on the line and there's no shortage of information online. I'm improving. Even if I'm a day late and $1 short. 3 weeks left. I know you're screaming at me, wondering how I could be so stupid, but this place is designed to make you screw up. Need help, then sell a little bit of your soul to get it. I want to talk to Adrian, I told Percy after giving him my morning report. It's not like I have him on speed dial, Nate, Percy responded. I heard him walk in about 2 minutes ago. You guys are fucking with my head enough. I'd jump at a pin dropping in Canada, I said dryly. And that's no lie. In all the movies and stories, main characters get turned into some kind of badass after wading through supernatural shit, and I can't say that that's my experience. What can I do for you, Nathan? Adrian asked. I want to know more about what's going on here. What was it you said before, Percy? Think of it like I was drafted into a war. So tell me who the fuck the enemy is. What it wants. Anything that'll make this feel less like helping you sick bastards make snuff films. I pleaded. Nathan, I couldn't give you the big picture if I wanted to. Each project is a gear in a machine built to save a civilization. Adrian replied smugly. Safe. Who the hell's being saved? All I see is people getting torn apart. He spit. How do you kill a werewolf, Nathan? Adrian asked. I don't know. Silver? I said dismissively. Good. How about a vampire? Adrian continued. Stake through the heart, fire, daylight, cross, I replied. I could probably name a dozen other legends. And you could name a dozen other ways to kill them. Am I right? Adrian leads. Sure, what are you getting at? I demanded. How would you have saved your friends? Let's say you have nearly infinite manpower and resources. What would you have done? There was an air of anger in Adrian's tone. I mean, you're military, right? Some form of government branch, send in the worst you have, I answered. The second I stopped talking, Adrian said, They're dead. So are your friends. Now, this thing is spooked, and instead of picking off a few people here and there, it's leaving a trail of dead and wounded to slow you down. What now? Contain it, I said curtly. With what? Cement? Steel? The bones of orphans? How do you go about doing that without attracting the attention of an entire city? You know what it calls itself? Wire jaw. Some fourth grade wordplay. That scares the hell out of me. And do you want to know why? It's stupid. It's crude. It doesn't follow any kind of logic, and there are hundreds of them. More every day. Something has changed. Laws that make gravity look like a suggestion are being broken, and here you are demanding to know exactly how your efforts are being spent. Do you know what hubris is, Nathan? Adrian growled. If I didn't, it'd take you an hour to explain it, and I still wouldn't have a clue. Nathan, I've devoted an inordinate amount of time on you. Please make it worthwhile. For all our sakes. The speaker cut out. I paced the room as I watched the monitors, trying to keep my wounded foot limber. My lungs are on the mend, cells dry. I'm doing about as well as I can be. I catch some action on a monitor bank showing various angles of a junkyard. A massive slab of a man drags someone I can best describe as accountant-looking. The victim is duct taped to a chair, then bound with thin wire, just for kicks apparently. It digs into his flesh, making small cuts. The wild-eyed giant opens a tool case, drawing out a long, flathead screwdriver. I find myself thinking something's weird. The man driving the shop tool into the poor bastard in the chair doesn't have the vibe to him. Goddamn, what has this place done to me? Seeing a serial killer is mundane. There's rustling in the assorted garbage and scrap around the two men. It catches the killer's attention. He draws a pistol from deep within a set of welding overalls, taking no chances on a fair fight. Jaded as I may be, something isn't right, I know it. I lean in further, inspecting each monitor. Feels like I've been doing this for years, despite the fact it hasn't even been a month. The eyes dart back and forth, watching to catch a glimpse of whatever new horror this is, hoping maybe I can find something big or unique enough to get me out of here early. It's a tiny hope, foolhardy, but it's all I have. I'm not giving up. My heart pounds. I see something start to creep from a pool of shadow, too deep and wide to be natural. Hi, innate. I hear from less than an inch away from my left ear. The breath is rank, it smells phosphorus and copper. In 2 words, the tone of its voice shows me the depths of insanity. Malnutrition, disease, fear. One of the 3, or a horrible combination of them all, decide to drop-kick my heart. I see spots, I lose my balance, and I hit the ground. Come on, Natty. A heart attack? Same voice says, tossing in some mocking laughter. I can't catch my breath. It feels like my heart is pounding out of my chest one moment, grinding into a grand stop the next. I closed my eyes, trying to calm down, trying to forget what I'm going to see when I open them. That harsh, lunatic voice cackles as I try to stand. I grab onto the desk supporting the bank of monitors. I put everything I have into staying conscious. I'm shaking, I'm panting, my heart catches a rhythm, my vision clears. And I wish to God that it didn't. The first thing I notice is me, face looking shocked, staring ahead at the monitor bank. And the second is him. That thing I saw on the monitors, the one from my cell, its ethereal features shifting in almost imperceptible ways, but the oversized, damaged helmet, the slagged shell casing for a lower jaw, there's no mistaking it. It towers over me, wearing a uniform that's not quite any one era of combat. Every time I try to get a handle on a pin or insignia, my focus is taken away. There you go. We need to have a little conversation in private. I can see torn flesh under the helmet, one hateful eye staring out from a large crack. What are you? I ask, stunned, torn between looking at myself and the thing in front of me. I could be the ghost of a soldier betrayed, left to die. I could be you from another place and time. Maybe I'm the personification of the horrors of war. Or my favorite. What if I'm just in your head? That's the thing about Intel. Has so many different interpretations. Maybe it's one of those options. Maybe something else. Right now, though, just focus on what you know. I'm someone who can do this. The thing explains, motioning to the moment out of time that seems to be going on. What's this all about? I try to demand. My voice comes out as a mere squeak. Then why the hell would I care? You might want to let me say my piece here. The longer we chat inside your skull, the more of that violent voyeurism you miss. And you know how this place handles not doing your job. The entity grins. I see a chemical-ravaged mouth housing those tarnished brass teeth. I shudder, thinking of the horrors Adrian can inflict with something as simple as water. Yeah, that's what I thought. Adrian and his associates have a piece of me deep within that half-assed bunker. They know I'm here. You think they have me trapped? I've let them take their notes, make their guesses, but it's just about time to go AWOL, if you know what I'm saying. And that's where you come in. I need someone on board to let me hitch a ride out of this place. Aid and his men, they'll let you go eventually if you don't get killed first. Cocky fucking black op. You know, no one will believe you. See, my process is a little more physical than you'd think. I could try and force my way in, but chances are you just stroke out. Then I'm left holding a bag of shit trying to find another pog to get me out of this. If I don't, I say, trying to hold on to some scrap of pride. And do what? Tell Adrian and Percy? Great idea. How do you think that goes? I'll save you the trouble of guessing. You spend the rest of your life being cut open, poked, prodded, exorcised, hit with every other kind of voodoo or fringe science in existence. In me, I pop down the next cell. I try this again with one of the other countless poor bastards in here. The monster says smugly. I'm silent, not daring to speak against it. That look in your face tells me you think this is a negotiation. I'm getting out of here one way or the other. Only difference is how much of your life I pick apart on the way. Once you wrap your brain around this, you know where I'll be, the rotten thing says. My stomach drops. I'm disoriented. I'm confused. My head is spinning. I can barely see the monitors in front of me. I retch thin rations, half digested, hit the floor. Junkyard is a modern art painting of scrap and gore. Whatever did this is long gone. I don't have the energy to yell. I laugh, tears falling down my face, making tiny pools on the waterproof floor. What do you mean you don't remember? Percy says, panicked. Those words in that order, that's why I chose them, I repeated petulantly. I didn't sleep again last night. The things I've seen keep me up the first half of the night, and the rest was spent waiting for the creature, the one in the helmet, to make its next appearance. I instantly feel bad for my outburst. Percy's the closest thing I have to a friend in here. That's not good enough, man. I'm really pulling for you here, but you're not making it easy, Percy replies. Sorry, I think maybe I'm still sick. You probably saw the feeds, though. You can't fudge something for tonight, I beg. I don't have your eye for this stuff. You know where they got me from? I'm a sniper, Nate. It needed someone who can deal with bad shit happening at a distance, being responsible for it, not turning into a psychopath or a robot, Percy replies. Please. It's the only thing I can think to say. All right, but this is the only time. You understand, if Aid was here when you asked, half that room would be flooded, right? He was a vampire. Last vampire actually looked like a guy in his 20s. Killed both those people. Drawn to the blood. That's all I have, though. And keep in mind, if Aid decides to look into things, see something that you shouldn't have missed, we're both fucked, Percy says. I hate putting him in this position, but his actions are the only bit of kindness I've seen since I've been here. I try to work off some of the anxious energy till the monitors start showing anything of note. But the more I move, the more I notice the faint image of that thing, hiding in corners, leering down from the ceiling. I start to call it Charlie in my head. I'm tired of thinking of it as the creature or the thing. No, Christ, no, I say as the bank monitor shows my visual torture for the night. At first I think the cameras must be mounted badly. They have a slow but noticeable sway. After a few minutes, though, I realize I'm looking at a houseboat. A boy of about 12 is left for a few hours by his aunt and uncle. He's ecstatic. Freedom and an interesting situation made him happy in the kind of way only children can be. Feels like my legs are going to give out from under me. I've seen things that have changed me, frayed my brain, but not a kid. Not a kid. I don't think I can deal with that. I sit, stunned, watching the scene unfold. The child explores every inch of the houseboat. He's enamored with the rolling waves, sounds of the water at night. Temptation to walk into the deck eats at him. Eventually, he loses the battle. Armed with nothing more than a life jacket and a fear of being caught, he explores the outside of the boat. A camera on the outside shows the boat starting to slowly drift. Something's untied the line to the dock. The child doesn't notice. Enthralled with the sea in front of him and the mysteries it must contain, by the time the power cuts out on the ship, he's hopelessly far from shore. He's adrift. The pitch darkness, no sign of land in sight. His phone is useless. Same with the satellite phone on the ship. He tries to start the engine, but it's inert. He screams for help on the deck. He's too far out. Or so I thought. The view from the cameras is too dark. It's hard to make anything out, but both myself and the kid hear a voice. Eric. Eric. Over here. It's small. Feminine. Coming from the waterline. I strain trying to make out anything in the grainy screens. Who's there? Eric says, suspicion and fear in his voice. I jump as I feel a ragged nail drag its way over my shoulder. Keep your eyes on the prize, nanny boy. Give a real good look at the twisted shit that's out there. All the tumors growing on God's corpse, Charlie says. I try unsuccessfully to ignore him. Shut up, I dare to say. Language, Nate, language. What do you think's coming out with a kid, huh? Possessed boat, whatever. Don't go swimming at the docks at 3 a.m. Critter, that's what's in the water, right? I bit my lip. Charlie scares the hell out of me, but he pisses me off just as much. The combination of smug and evil, it just Makes my blood boil. Side bet. How much of a hand did Adrian and his pals have in setting something like this up, huh? Or do you think they just happened to stumble across two mockeries of nature? Don't tell me you're that stupid, Charlie says. I know he's just trying to get in my head, but I can't say it's not working. Something walks out of the engine room of the houseboat. A dark figure, oiled leather fisherman's jacket, and a face obscured in shadows from a large rain hat. He doesn't walk, simply shows up on one camera, and then the next, closer to Eric. We need your help, Eric, the small female voice says. In the corner of one camera, I can see a small body clambering up the side of the ship. Eric is smarter than I was. He knows something's wrong. He ignores the pleading, runs into the houseboat, but the slick, tilting deck betrays him. He falls forward, all of his weight hits one knee. Eric screams. He tries to get up, but between not having sea legs and rapidly swelling joy, he falls again. What I saw on the outside of the ship drags itself past the railing onto the deck. It looks like a little girl, but her features are dead, lifeless. Her eyes especially seem flat, and like she's something's approximation of a human. From her hair snakes hundreds of small fibers, leading back into the inky blackness of the water. The facsimile of a little girl stands awkwardly, stumbling, falling, dragging herself back to its legs, not used to solid ground. Eric, please. Only you can help my people. The girl's voice is convincing, but her doll's face betrays a dark malice. Eric limps towards the sliding door that leads to the living room of the houseboat. With an unnatural lurch against the tides, the ship raises out of the water like a grasping hand. Eric smashes into the door. Aluminum twists and breaks. A spar takes a deep gouge out of Eric's cheek. The ship violently hits the water. The cameras glitch and blur for a second. Eric doesn't notice the fisherman as he tries to keep his balance, tearing open the cupboards and closets, looking for anything that could help him. Despite the vessel's thrashing like a trapped badger, the little girl still clings to the deck. She gingerly steps over the broken screen door. Eric, she croons. This is gonna be a fucking tug of war, Charlie snarls happily. Eric finds something, a large orange bag almost as big as he is. I have no idea what it is, but the kid seems smart, and context is everything. I don't even know where I could be looking. The fisherman blocks one exit, the little girl's in front of the other. The waves outside the boat are gaining momentum. It's chaos. Eric is torn, frozen in indecision. The lights flicker. The fisherman seems everywhere at once. Eric bolts. A rusted gutting knife buries itself in the wall by Eric's head. I actually cheer. But the fisherman is more than a sharp blade. Eric's nose breaks as he slams into the glass door at the other end of the living room. The locks won't budge, held in place by the fisherman's will. The fisherman notices the girl and starts to stalk towards her. Eric desperately rattles the door. The houseboat begins to tilt downward, the stern being dragged under. I look at the monitor at the stern of the boat. I follow those tendrils from the flesh puppet stalking Eric. I can't make it out, but it's massive. An open maw filled with teeth. Like shattered rocks. And huge, far too human eyes. Eric starts to lose footing. A whirlpool forming behind the boat. He takes off his life jacket, puts the thick foam in front of his face, and charges the door. Glass shatters. Eric screams. No time to remove the shards from his body. He leaps from the boat into the icy water, and then the monitor cuts. I expected more taunting from Charlie, but the bastard knows what he's doing. Leaves me alone with nothing more than my thoughts and a sad brick of Salisbury steak. And just as I start to drift off into a nightmare-strewn sleep, he begins to whisper. You know, it's impossible to escape me, Nathan. It's impossible to fight me. And that doesn't stop until the klaxon screams for my morning report. That's a funny thing, feeling your mind slip away. Being cognizant enough to know that what you're seeing is tearing you apart. It's hard to focus on Percy, but I try my best. The ship sank? Percy says. Yeah, whatever that was below the water looked big enough to swallow it, actually. Any idea if that kid was okay? I ask. No, I don't really know. I guess I'll see if I can find out. Overall, what are your observations so far? My hands shake. All I want to do is beg to leave. You've entropy, illogic. It's like there's been some kind of paranoid oil spill somewhere. Did you guys set up that kid? I blurt. I could hear Percy gasp. Yes, I'm not as good at picking out background noise as I thought. Nathan, how much longer do you think you can last? How many more weeks in that cell, living side by side with whatever paranormal hanger-on you attracted, do you have in you? You need to focus more on the task at hand and less on distractions, questions. Seeing as you've been having trouble sleeping, why not make use of that time? From this point forward, your rest period is 4 hours, Adrian said curtly, cutting off the conversation. Adrian doesn't make empty threats. Day after day, 20 hours of boredom and terror, eating meals that are declining in quality with only 4 hours in between. I'm falling apart. Just like any of the victims I'm forced to watch, just slower. Sleep heals the body, refreshes the brain. Every minor scrape and bruise I get festers and spreads. My mood is erratic. And the entire time, Charlie is there to remind me of what I'm doing, of what he wants to do, of all the esoteric horrors Adrian and his people are probably unleashing. One night, I laugh. And then I pass out. It's a fleeting thought, but for a few minutes, it takes over my mind. The absurdity of it. The kismet, I'm sure a lot of you can relate. It reminds me of my first experience with horror. Starting off loving it, but afraid. Wondering what's real, what's not. Not knowing if what I was seeing could or couldn't leave the safety of the screen. Then becoming jaded. Used to the carnage. Maybe that's why I was picked. By the time I'm 2 days away from getting out, I'm at least 10 pounds underweight. I don't know if it's the food getting worse in my stomach, but I simply can't eat. 7 days without sleep will kill a person, so I know I must be passing out here and there, but I'll be damned if I could tell you when. And after I asked about the kid being set up, Percy's replaced. The new guy won't give me his name. Seems to have the world's biggest stick jammed up the world's tightest ass. I find myself relating more and more to the victims I see on the screen, thinking about someone out there watching me on a half-dozen mismatched monitors, thinking I'm just some great AI. Say I feel alone. That'd be a blessing. Being able to wallow in my shame and fear by my lonesome, that's preferable to having a paranormal heckler within 5 feet at all times. You don't think I'm just going to let you walk out of here, do you? I can hurt you, Nathan, in ways not even you can guess at. Takes more effort than I want to expend, but if you try jerking me around to the 11th hour, that door takes 15 seconds to unlock. Doesn't seem like much, I know, but it'll be enough to make hell a relief. Make no mistakes, Nate, that's where you're going to end up when the lights turn off. Shit you've been a part of, you're going to want to put that off as long as you can. Charlie taunts as I try to sleep. So I do what you want, you let me live. Why not just take over my body? Take my chances with hell, I said, depressed. You ever hear of garbage in, garbage out? You're fine for a little stroll, what the hell? What am I going to do with your sorry ass long term? You're some asshole that works in a grocery store. Sorry. Used to work in a grocery store, Charlie answers. I don't reply, but Charlie's statement gives me some things to think about. A tooth falls out the morning of my last day. The core is black. From what I'm reading, probably scurvy. One more day, I whisper to myself. Something I've been doing more than I'd like to admit. I feel nothing but relief when I see a family sitting in their living room. All day I've been expecting Adrian to throw me some kind of curveball, something to keep me in here longer. I know I won't survive another day in this place. I think about what Charlie said. My strained mind begins to drift. Keep hearing him say, "It's impossible to escape me. It's impossible to fight me." I shake my head, snapping my attention back to the monitors. I scratch my arm nervously, another bad habit caused by the lack of brain chemistry. Patch the size of a playing card is torn and raw. For a while, the family's doing normal family things, just enjoying each other's company. It fills me with fear and dread. My world no longer as wholesome or good. Those are bait for the things that go bump in the night. And then someone enters this nice bungalow-style home. At first I think he must be one of Adrian's guys, but as I look, that isn't quite right. He's tall, 6.5 feet at least, and what he's wearing, parody of Adrian's G-Man look. Their suit is ill-fitting, both too tight, too loose in spots. The colors, especially an off-yellow handkerchief clash. His face is mostly hidden behind a massive set of aviators, even though the room is softly lit. The family doesn't seem to react. I know they'd notice it, but not one turns towards the spectacle of a person. There's a little bit of something I want to call hope brewing in the back of my mind. Whoever, whatever this guy is, he clearly knows about Adrian. It's like he's trying to call them out. The man saunters in, rapidly scanning the room in a mockery of a special agent style. He's putting on an act. As the man starts to talk, the audio cuts out. Not since the start of this thing have they felt the need to stop me from hearing anything. The lanky man pulls something out of a shelf of DVDs and starts inspecting the wall. The way he makes eye contact with a camera from a distance tells me he knows exactly where it is. Pulls it out of the drywall, thus falling on a middle-aged woman who still doesn't move a muscle. Points the camera at his face. Can't tell what he's saying, but I see thick scars, shattered teeth. Fresh blood wounds peek out from beneath his collar. He laughs and starts talking, aiming the camera in front of him as he walks. If I didn't know better, I think he knew they cut the audio. For a minute, it's nothing but motion blur, and then I see something strange. The front of a DVD case comes into focus. Seems pretty standard for a bargain bin kid movie. A pink background, the title Helping Hands, and a trio of Muppet knockoffs straight out of the Uncanny Valley. DVD's thrown as the camera tries to focus. I see a kaleidoscope of colors. Once it clears, I see a pile of meat and felt. 3 things, 5-foot versions of the characters from the DVD sit in a vulgar, dismembered pile. Some still trying to crawl towards the garish dressed man. The man drops a piece of paper onto the pile. Scrawled on it are the words, "Adrian, try harder." And a few seconds later, a second covers it, reading, "Nothing is impossible." The view from the camera bulges and then cuts. I spent my 4 hours thinking of what exactly that was about. Is it weird? It makes me feel hopeful. Someone knows the hell that's going on in this pit. I wonder if they can do anything about it. But it's not his actions that stick with me the most. As much as I love seeing someone stick it to Adrian, nothing is impossible. That stays with me. And I know what I need to do. I'm only talking to Percy. You know what you need to do, I say to the nameless man that's been taking my reports. Nathan, your performance has been more than adequate. You've been well compensated, and this is your last hour of service. Why do you want to make things difficult? Adrian asked. Percy, I repeat. The hole where my molar was throbs as I speak. There's enough silence, I think I've just gotten myself killed. But eventually, Adrian comes back on. He can be here in 20 minutes. That time will be added to your service. Let's go. I've had enough of this place, I think. I'm not lying, but I'm not being honest either. You're gonna feel a little pinch, Charlie says sadistically in my mind. Feels like a wire brush is being jammed into my skull. I'd scream, but I can't. I have no outlet as the pain floods through me. As one of my eyes starts to blur, then goes dark. Useless. I could feel him. Not some vague metaphorical sense, but in the same way you could feel the tiniest splinter. I wipe blood from my nose. I feel the vile intellect prodding my mind. Nate, you made it, man. Kind of ballsy for you to go making requests, though, Percy says. I take a deep breath. A thing inside me senses something's wrong. It tries to stop me from speaking, but it's not deep enough yet. That thing is inside my head. It made me an offer, a threat, really, to sneak it out of here. I don't know what kinds of horrible things you guys are doing, but I'm not going to be the guy who sells out humanity for a promise from some demon, I say. I hear Charlie screaming in my brain. He lashes out, tries to take control, succeeds in getting me to knock out a few more teeth on the desk, but I press on. I have nothing to lose. I've seen the impossible dozens of times. I've seen the damage chaos and brute force can cause. Something like Charlie, something cunning, something with a plan. I can't even imagine the brutality he's capable of. The one thing he wouldn't shut up about was how useless it'd be to tell you guys. Made it pretty obvious that's what I need to do. I say, my tone resigned. Get someone down there right now, I hear Percy screaming. Adrian backs up the statement. I grin a crooked smile as I place my phone on the desk. Trembling, twitching fingers, barely able to finish the task. I wanted to talk to you all at the end. I wasn't alone through all of this. You were here with me. And last time I ended up telling you that this was a warning. My way of trying to help everyone out there. I stand by that, but now I don't know what it's a warning for. I'm gonna hope a few of you are smarter than I am. Maybe some of you can figure out who's wearing the white hat and all this. Doors open now, just like Charlie said. Took about 15 seconds. That bastard's trapped in the crumbling ruins of my brain. Nothing he can do to me will be any worse than this place. Maybe someone like him can avoid hell. Then maybe I can be hell. I'll miss you all. Nate.